We're back.
After 9 months off air, welcome back to Extra. I'm Joanne Hines.
And I'm Georgia Lash. We're happy to be sitting here in our new studio with a new show opening, and we'll be sharing a new segment with you later. As before, our Extra crew brings you expanded coverage of recently broadcast features from Sun City TV. Joanne, let's explain why we do that.
Okay. Now, if you had to hold your breath for 3 minutes, it would seem like a very long time. But when our Sun City TV crew is interviewing you and recording your events, 3 minutes goes by way too fast.
So, all the rest of the story, as they would say back in the day, would end up on the cutting room floor. Here at Extra, we save that content for our show, so you don't miss too much. Joanne, let's get started with one of those stories.
Sure. The motto of the Sun City Lions Group is, "We serve." To fund their projects, they sponsor an annual concert featuring the Evolution Band. On our Sun City TV News, we talked with the band, but here on Extra, we'd like you to learn more about the club's organizers. Reporter Chris Chase talked with Bill Teeter, who has devoted 26 years to the Lions Club.
Bill, you must be so pleased with the sold-out crowd. I mean, it was absolutely wonderful.
Another one after 14 years. You would think that people might get tired of this, but this music just lives on, and it every year has been a sellout, and it's fantastic. So we just love the response from our Sun City residents.
And it's wonderful, too, the Lions Club itself. Now, how would I become a Lion?
You have to be invited, but all you have to know is know a lion who and express your interest, that you're interested in serving the community. That's what we're all about. We are the largest service organization in the world with 1.4 million members around the world. And we started about 125 years ago. This club is 25 years old, serving our community, both Jasper as well as Beaufort Counties.
Well, that's wonderful, and I'm sure you'll have more lions out of this.
I hope so. Yeah. So our club is one of the larger clubs in the state of South Carolina, actually, and very, very active. So we have lots of activity going on. So this concert supports a lot of donations, such as donations to the Technical College of the Lowcountry for nursing scholarships, donations to Seeing Eye Dogs, donations to the School of the Deaf and Blind. But we also do a lot of service projects that support the community. And those require volunteers and people who want to give back.
Well, I know I saw the list, and the charities that you give to is just phenomenal. You guys do a wonderful job. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
And I just want to ask, though, how did you actually get involved with the Evolution Big Band?
Well, we'd been coming down to Hilton Head for a number of years as our son was taking some golf lessons, and so that attracted us initially to the area. And then I started sitting in with various groups, and they, at the time, the Stardust Jazz Orchestra called me up and said, well, we need a lead trumpet player. And I said, well, I live in Minneapolis now, and that's a bit of a hike. So long story short, that was kind of one of the things that convinced us to make the move down here, and so we've been down here since 2015, and I've been in the band ever since, and it's been a wonderful experience.
Well, the band's very lucky to have you, too. You're wonderful. The band was fantastic, though. Everybody was raving, and you were sold out. You must be proud of that.
We are. We always put our customers and our audiences first, and what would they like to hear, and what are the songs that we've got that would fit the theme that that our partners have chosen for the night. We're fortunate to have grown a library from just a few songs to now it's over 6,000 songs that are in my attic that we have to select from. So it's quite a repertoire that we can play, and it keeps it all fresh and gives us something new to play every week.
And people can look you up on?
Well, you can look us up on Facebook, or you can go to evolutionbigband.com. We keep our performance schedule on there. There's a wonderful history of the band on there that goes back to the Stardust era, and I've asked several alumni members to write chapters about the band's evolution, so to speak. You can also sign up to follow us, and I will send you news about the band and where we're playing and how our fundraising is going for all these organizations. So we have about 1,000 people that follow us regularly.
That's fantastic. Well, if you didn't come to see the show tonight, don't miss it next year, right?
Absolutely. And we get better every year, I think. Thanks for supporting us.
Kudos to Bill for his leadership and dedication. Joanne, this is a fundraiser I know we never miss, and each year it gets better.
Yes, it does, Georgia. After our next story on Sun City TV News aired, things also got better. Georgia, tell us about that.
SCTV News anchor Norma Taylor introduced us to Chris Scott, known as Mr. Recycle Man, whose personal mission is to recycle tennis balls, plastic, and aluminum cans from our sports venues. His award-winning work has both environmental and philanthropic benefits. Let's watch.
Well, I'm here with Chris Scott. It's Sun City's Recycle Man. And Chris, you just received a fantastic award. Tell us about this.
Very good, Norma. Thank you. Yes, we did receive an award. We are now in the top 10 in the United States for recycling tennis balls. All of this has occurred in 19 months. 47,800 tennis balls.
That is truly amazing. And Chris, I see you here every single night, picking up balls and picking up plastic. What inspires you to do this?
Well, Norma, Linda and I, my wife, we come over to our sports facilities every single night to pick up the plastic, the tennis balls, the aluminum cans, softball field, the pickleball fields, bocce, everything. And why? It's our planet, and it is our moral responsibility to pass this earth on to the next generation and do everything possible.
And tell us, you were just telling me before, about how long does it take for a tennis ball to last in the landfill?
The tennis ball lasts 450 years in the landfill. So it takes a long time to break down.
That's a fantastic record that you've got, Chris, from doing the recycle of the tennis balls, the plastic, the lids, everything. But I know now you're on to a new venture, and it's not in tennis balls. Tell us.
It's pickleballs, and we just started recycling pickleballs just a few months ago, which we've now done over 3,000. Pickleballs take over 1,000 years to break down the landfill. So can you imagine, with pickleball growing a big sport now, thousands and thousands of these things end up in the landfill every day. So we decided, what can we do? Well, first thing we do, we collect them each night. 7 days a week, we visit the pickleball courts and bring back all of these. Then we cut them in half, and then we cut them into smaller pieces, and then they end up in a little oven baked at 450 degrees. And this here is pickleballs and tennis lids melted down, and this will be a turtle, a piece of artwork pretty soon. We also experimented with a nice beverage tray. And this is all made from pickleballs. Amazing, isn't it?
Now, this is something I think you are going to be selling because this is pretty magnificent. I would love to have one of these myself. And so, what are you going to do as far as selling it, and where's the money going?
Once we sell these to local residents, all the money is donated to the No Kill Animal Center. Last year, we donated over $3,458 just from the aluminum that we melted down from our tennis facilities and bocce ball, etc. So it all goes to a good cause. It's worthwhile for the environment, worthwhile for the animals that can't speak for themselves.
And can you give us an idea if something like this is going to be a turtle? What would something like this cost?
This will probably be about $25, and as I said, every penny will be donated.
Okay, and I know, Chris, that you've donated not only an amazing amount of your time and your wife Linda's time, but you've also donated a lot of money to this too. Talk about it.
Recycling cost. There's no free ride, and if you're committed as we are, we've spent a lot of money, $19,000 over the past 20 months, making investment in recycled containers, in shipping the balls back to Vermont to be recycled, but it's worth every penny of it, guaranteed.
Well, you've done an amazing job. So, all right, tennis balls, plastic, pickleballs. What are you going to do next?
I don't know. We're constantly looking for better, bigger, and better things. We hopefully will be expanding to other facilities in the future, but for right now, we're sticking right here.
That's an amazing thing that you're doing. And bear in mind, we have pickleball courts on the south side and the north side. And we also have tennis courts on the north side and the south side. And that means Chris and his wife Linda have to go to 2 different places each time to pick up these recyclable items. And Chris, you're doing an amazing job. Keep us posted on what your next project is going to be, and let us know, how much you make from these. These are absolutely gorgeous. And look at the beautiful, beautiful colors. It's got pickleballs and some tennis balls in there. Great job, Chris. Congratulations on your award, and just keep up this fantastic work. The earth and the planet thanks you for it.
Thank you.
What dedication, and he and his wife continue to increase their efforts. Be on the lookout for those turtle art pieces they're creating.
Like we said, the story gets better. After Chris's segment was seen on SCTV, 3 other tennis communities contacted him to get his advice and assistance setting up programs like this.
Well, speaking of surrounding communities, a goal of our SCTV crew is to keep our residents updated on Jasper and Beaufort County issues and events. Let's start with Mayor Harry Williams at the First Friday meeting.
Well, we're here at First Friday with my favorite mayor, Harry. Now, Harry, what exactly is going on in Hardyville now?
Well, I think some of the big news is in the 1st of January, we installed 2 new council members, and that's one of the biggest turnovers we've had in a couple of years. We have Mr. Steve Mearsman, who lives in the Margaritaville neighborhood, and Mrs. Valerie Guzman, who lives in the Hilton Head Lakes neighborhood. So that's quite a change. We've really spread out the representation of our council, and it's a big change for us.
Now, are there any fun things going on in Hardyville?
Well, one of the great parts that happened in December, we had our first holidays. Now, we hadn't had a Christmas parade in a few years, so our Parks and Rec team created holidays. And it started off with a parade downtown, which was a lot of fun. We had a lot of participants. But then, behind City Hall, we had 2 very unique things for the kids. We had ice skating. They set up an ice skating rink, and there was a truck that gave ice skates to the kids. So it was quite comical to see kids who've never been on ice skates before, and it's just a smooth surface. And it was hilarious. The kids were having a ball, and there was a big line. There was a bigger line to get ice skates than there was to go see Santa. The other thing that we had, which was unique, they blew snow on this slope, so the kids got to snow sled. and again, probably the first time that these kids ever had an experience such as that. So it was a great day, a lot of fun, and a great new addition to our Parks and Rec assortment.
Well, that's just, I mean, Hardyville does wonderful things. I love your festivals anyway. But how about now? What's going on with some development? We got new development in Hardyville?
Well, we seem to have development every month. It just, they're coming and coming. And of course, we've been struggling with the apartments that are going behind the Fox Lake and Cedar Run neighborhood. Okay, and that's an allowed use. We finally passed that, the second reading just last night. So there will be 518 apartments going into that neighborhood. And I do want to thank everybody in the community. We had a great outpouring of input from the community. We had 2 workshops, which were public hearings to hear what the community had to say. We had a lot of help, and that helped us negotiate with the builder to get some concessions in this apartment complex. And many people said, Harry, we know something has to go there. We'd rather have these apartments than have a big box store, something that would be a lot noisier and a lot more intrusive. So it was a good combination of city government working with the residents of Sun City and with the developer to come up with a good product. We had fencing put around that they weren't going to do. We increased the buffers between those neighborhoods and the apartment complex. And it will be a very nice upscale apartment complex.
Now, when's it going to be started?
Well, in South Carolina, the land disturbance permits take months to get from the state. But they're looking at phase 1 to probably be starting in 2024 and the first phase up by 2025.
Oh, that's excellent. Well, thank you, Harry, as always, for filling us in.
I'll give you one more tip. If people want to find out more about what happened recently in Hardyville, I did give my annual State of the City address a couple of weeks ago. It's on our website, www.hardyvillesc.gov, and it's under the latest city highlights, and it scrolls right and left until you find the State of the County luncheon, and you can see an address from myself, Mayor Malphus from Ridgeland, and Marty Sauls, who's the chairman of Jasper County Council.
That's excellent. It's so great that you keep us up all the time.
Okay. Thank you, and thank you for having me.
Such an upbeat perspective from Sun City resident Mayor Harry Williams.
Now, each month I sit down with Beaufort County Council Chairman Joe Passament. Here's an idea of what we can learn. Joe, we typically jump right in on Beaufort County Council business, but we're going to switch today. You've got something to share about an initiative you've created so that our Beaufort County residents, our Sun City people, can learn more about the county itself.
That's correct. I created a registered community group called Low Country Happenings. It's for any resident of Sun City, whether you're on the north side, the south side, River Bend. We're going to talk about things that affect where we live and where we work, because we have a lot of people who still work, although they live in our community, and where we play. As I said, it's open to all the residents. We're going to meet. Our first meeting is going to be this coming March 17th. That's this Thursday. We meet for an hour. We're going to meet in Hidden Cypress this time. We're going to talk about the county. So that's the tease, is a lot of people move here and they really don't understand what is happening in our county. What's all about. We're going to tell them all about our county and our region, because it's the low country. So we have 7 counties in our low country region that we're going to talk about.
What time is the meeting?
3 o'clock.
So it will always be at 3 o'clock, but various
3 o'clock.
locations.
Right now, we are going to be in Hidden Cypress for a couple times, and then we're going to move. But yes, it's going to be the 3 o'clock hour.
Well, that's an interesting way for you to have a one-on-one dialogue with some people then as well.
Well, yeah, I have a lot of information that we're going to bring to the forefront. When you're a newcomer, you're not necessarily a newcomer just to Sun City. You may be a newcomer to our state. And so you need to know lots of information.
That's right.
And we hope to provide that.
And speaking of information, now let's get to business.
Yes.
We talked budget last time.
Yep.
And I assume as the process occurs with any organization, you're developing some priorities.
Yes,
Budget and otherwise.
We have a bunch of priorities. Priority number one, obviously, is the budget, putting together a budget that we believe is going to be sustainable. You know, people are still hurting. We understand that. And we're a large employer, so we have to take care of our own as well. So that's one of our priorities, is to take care of the Beaufort County workers, to make sure that they are paid adequately, that we have enough staff, that we're doing all the right things for people there. Another priority we have is a transportation referendum coming next year. We know that 2 years ago, when we put together the team to advise us about transportation, it wasn't derailed. It was postponed to do the green space. The green space passed. It's only for 2 years. It's going to be gone in 2024. We're going to replace it with a transportation referendum, and we're going to do some things differently. So stay tuned. I'll speak more about the transportation referendum as we get into that. We're also going to talk about economic development, because we continue to grow. And those three words, live, work, and play, that's all economic growth. People have to live someplace because they work someplace. People have to work someplace because they live someplace. So economic development is there. We're dealing with our Board of Education differently. We have a good working relationship with our Board of Education. We want to help them as they move forward, and so we have some thoughts how we want to work with them. Then we're finalizing the last, what they call tranche of the ARPA funds. That's the money we received because of the economy was down, and we're restarting that. So we're reprioritizing some of those uses of those funds to better serve the needs that we have. So those are our priorities. Our goals are, obviously we have to create the ordinance for the referendum. We will do that later on this year. We're going to provide a COLA for our employees, a cost of living adjustment, so that we're paying them adequately. We know how high CPI was, and we want to keep up with that. So those are the kinds of things we're doing now. So stay tuned. As we go through the budget process, you'll see what we're going to be doing.
That sounds excellent. Can't wait to hear more, and I can't wait to hear about the progress that you're going to have with your Low Country happenings.
Well, you know, we hope everybody will show up. It is a registered group, so we do have, right now we have 60 people who are going to show up. And it will continue to grow once people hear, hey, I didn't know that. So those are the little teasers that we have out there.
Well, thank you again.
Okay.
Now, Councilman Passaman is a Sun City resident. He's always eager to share what's going on in Beaufort County. And it's interesting to hear about the initiatives the council is planning.
Joe, you and your fellow council members just completed a budget retreat. So I'm budgeting this time for you to give us some of the outcomes.
We did a lot of things. So let me give you some synopsis of what we did. Under our priorities, we discussed that in 2024, we're going to have a transportation referendum. And that's going to be our number one priority and goal coming up this year. To do that, first of all, we have to construct a sales tax advisory committee, which is somewhat different than the one we had before, which was our transportation advisory committee. We're going to do some different things. So that's number one. Number two, as part of that, during this year, we will have to set an ordinance creating the referendum in 2024. We're also very concerned about our staff. We're one of the largest employers in all of Beaufort County. We have to take care of our employees. So one of our goals is to provide a COLA this year, cost of living adjustment, because it is so expensive right now. The CPI is so great that we want to do something for our employees. And then we want to focus long term about creation of salary guides and steps that will be more beneficial to our employees.
Now, during our time off, we had time to plan a new segment we'll be adding to our show. We're calling it Extra Special. So let's finish up with our premiere special segment that tells us more of the Sun City TV story. Since the Pinckney Hall renovation, many of you have asked, where did the Sun City TV studio go? Let's show you. Since much of the renovation was completed in the fall, you probably all had a chance to stop in at Pinckney Hall to enjoy the fresh coastal ambiance.
Here in the hallway where you used to peek in at SCTV recording our shows is now a meeting room.
Ha! But what you might have missed is this door leading into the hallway. That's how we get to our new SCTV studio, which is still undergoing the finishing renovation touches.
Here's the very efficient control room space with our essential recording and editing equipment. If you're watching on cable, here's the equipment making that happen.
And here we are at our familiar news desk. We always like to remind everyone that this desk was built by our very own Sun City woodworkers.
Now, this may seem like a small space, but it's filled with big talent. Oh, not us. Let's turn that lens around to spotlight our talented and very patient camera persons.
We hope you enjoyed a behind-the-scenes look at our SCTV studio. That's extra for April. I'm Joanne Hines.
And I'm Georgia Lash. Thank you for watching. Please join us again next month as we bring you extra coverage of stories and features from Sun City TV.